making my announcements, I'd like to pass around some wonderful pictures that Joe Germano took yesterday at the dedication of the bocce court. As you know, at Home on the Sound, wanted to honor Valerie O'Keefe last year, and we gave a bocce court at the Senior Center at the Veterans of Foreign War, and the town of Mamaroneck pitched in and they built it. So it was a joint community effort. And yesterday it was really heartwarming to see everybody there. Everybody was happy to be there, shivering again, but happy to be there. And it was really a very heartwarming event. So I'm going to start these this way so you can see them, and then if you'll just pass them around, they'll end with me. And in the meantime, I'm going to make some of these announcements that I like to make. On April 5th, there's a tour of a sculpture collection at the home of a member. I don't know if we're filled. Are there still some spaces, Elaine?
Probably about 4 spaces left.
Okay, so call Elaine if you're interested. It's a wonderful collection of sculpture. It's nice to see it in somebody's home. It's always very special. It's like going to some chamber music in somebody's home.
Yeah, we play a little bit the next day. Yes.
April 5th, we have senior scenes has been canceled. I know.
Great.
I know. That was very good, though. We could do an act. It has been postponed because of illness, and it's been rescheduled for April 12th. So if any of you were planning to go, I know you sometimes go. So please write that on your calendar. It's an afternoon of acting and improvisation, so it's a lot of fun. And on Sunday at 3 o'clock, the Friends of the Larchmont Library will have the first annual spelling bee contest. This will be at the Larchmont Temple. It's not at the library. And Stay at Home has a team, and one of the team members is sitting right here, Barbara Gray. She should be home reading the dictionary. And I hope you'll come and cheer her on. It's a lot of fun. We think it'll be a really fun, again, a community event. It's free. There are refreshments at 3 o'clock, and the spelling bee starts at 3:30. So please come. And Megs Weinstock is also on the team, as is the Reverend Dorothy Green. On Monday, April 8th, we have gentle yoga with Sandra at 10 a.m. at the United Methodist Church. On Tuesday, April 9th at 5 p.m., we have a Dynabout. And it's really done in conjunction with this as a cultural experience because it's at Fiamma Trattoria. And this is in the spirit of the program today. So again, call the office, call Elaine, you all know her, I don't have to introduce her, and tell her that you would like to come. And we had a number of Dynabouts last year, and they were a lot of fun, and we're starting them again. On Wednesday, April 10th, our new club, the Stitch, Needle, and Knit, is going to meet at 12:30 in our office, bring a brown bag lunch, and just have fun. Thursday, April 11th, from 9 to 10:30, join us for breakfast at the Nautilus for current events. And our next program here is Wednesday, April 17th. Help Your Heirs with a Letter of Instruction. Bach, who is also an at-home member, is back by popular demand to talk about preparing a letter to your heirs to help locate your assets and your important papers. Learn what to include in it. Julian is frequently quoted in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, and he is an authority on tax planning. Good time of year to do this. Thursday, May 2nd, is a very special event. Also, it's our second annual gala, and we're hoping you will all be there. Last year was just a tremendous amount of fun. And it's at the Hampshire Country Club again, and we're honoring Mary Lee Berridge as a community spirit, and we're honoring our president, Lynn Reichgott, who is retiring. Not from At Home on the Sound, but just retiring as a president. So come, I think you'll have a good dinner, a lot of fun. There's a silent auction, and you'll find you have a lot of friends.
And a new cookbook to be bought
yes,
there, too.
Thank you. Did you work on the cookbook? Yes, I did. How many people here have recipes in the cookbook? See, Teddy really got all of us. It's a cookbook that we're selling as a partial fundraiser, and I think it should be a lot of fun. We all have our special recipes, and thank you for reminding me. And today, we are inaugurating a series about different cultures, a conversation about your heritage and your background. Mamaroneck has been home to families of Italian heritage for generations, enhancing our community and giving our area its own unique spirit. Pat Hatchie, an at-home member, she's a volunteer, she runs the volunteers, and her mother, Ann Balzai, was going to come and be part of our panel, but they're both ill. And we have had two really good sports come in at the last minute. Joe Germano and Gina Ricozzi are coming to fill that in. And Rose Silvestro is on our board. So I hope you'll welcome them, and we're going to ask them questions and get a conversation started. They're really good sports. They don't know what they're in for. They've never been here before.
Be kind to us.
I don't know about that. So
okay.
I think we should start with you, Rose.
Okay.
Tell us why your parents came here and something about your parents, when they came and why they came.
Well, actually, I also came here. I was born in Italy.
Can you tell us where you were born?
I was born actually not too far from where Gina comes from, the area between Naples and Rome, called Campania. My mother was actually born here in the U.S., in Mechanicsville, New York. And her family returned back to Italy when she was 5 years old.
Why did they go back?
My grandfather wanted to retire. He worked for the railroad. So hence my mom's siblings born in the U.S. were born all across New York State. And he wanted to retire and return back to his country. My oldest uncle, who was 17 at the time, stayed here. So many years later, he started to get his sisters over here. And my mother actually had two sisters born in Italy, not being U.S. citizens. They emigrated to Brazil, along with my oldest sister. So I say this because I'm the youngest of 11 with a 22-year age difference, and it was many, many years before we were all reunited here in this country, and eventually we were. So my mother, having gone back at a young age, did not speak English. And when I came here, I was close to 10, and I didn't speak English. But as I learned, and as I still believe, children learn languages very, very quickly. So it wasn't long before I was speaking English. And when we first came, we lived up in Schenectady, New York. And then that became such a depressed area. There was a locomotive works up there that had shut down, and then the GE started pulling back, and that was the biggest employer in the area. So we ended up in Mamaroneck. So not only now that I adjust to this huge culture shock coming from another country, just coming from Schenectady to Mamaroneck was another culture shock.
Did your father have a job here?
Yes, which is why we came here. And the Italians here in this community were and are very strong. There is that sense of connection, and unfortunately for me, because at this point now I am totally Americanized and I only spoke the dialect at home because that's what my parents spoke, so forget what I learned in Italy in school. They were from another part of Italy here, and I did not understand the dialect. Most of them were Calabrese. So I was like another, but again, an adjustment, but there was that support. Growing up in a family, my parents were in their 50s when they came here, and learned a few words of English. My older siblings, as they came, went to the ESL classes at Mamaroneck High School and learned enough to get by. But my parents really maintained their Italian language. So when it came to, here I am, a teenager, but when it came to conducting any type of business or anything that they needed a translator for, it would be either me or one of my siblings. And so in that respect, we grew up quicker in some ways because we had to, but Joe, as far as the immediate community here, can speak better to it because you grew up here.
Yes, I grew up on a street in Mamaroneck, 438 Center Avenue. And this block from Fenimore Road, try to visualize this, Fenimore Road to Rockland Avenue. In there we had a nice house, we had a farmer, a dairy farmer. Mr. Felt, he had cows, and the cows would wander in the brook alongside where the thruway is now, and his barn was taken down when the thruway came through, and up the street was Mr. Frank Kavanaugh and his son Huey. They had a team of horses, and these horses would go out every morning with a couple of men, and they would dig foundations for different homes in the area. There was no tractors in those days.
They were masons, basically. They were masons? Did
No,
do the
they
stonework too, or they did the
you would
digging?
call excavators.
Okay.
But alongside them, they would do work for C.W. Moody, who was up here in the Glen. All originated. C.W. Moody, his team of horses would come down. Every once in a while, we'd get a little reckless and jump the horses when they were off the wagons and take a little ride bareback. But C.W. Moody, I don't know how in the world he did it, but his area was strictly stone, if you notice up in Brooklyn Glen. He built all homes of stone. And when we were kids, we would swim in the brook alongside the cows. It was a very nice neighborhood. Also, in this area between Fenimore Road and Rockland Avenue, we had two Italian bakeries. There was really one at one time. There were two brothers that had this bakery going, and they delivered bread, just like Mr. Felt delivered his milk. But somehow the brothers didn't get along. One was a bachelor. He went across the street and built his own bakery. And during the course of the morning, you can smell this bread. Oh my God. But they weren't the only ones baking. Each of the little homes, I've got my picture over there, each of the little homes had a little oven in the rear of their house. And they would bake their own bread. And they would make their own pizza. In those days, we didn't think too much about pizza, but
There
was no Sal's.
No Sal's.
Just to show you that I'm 3 years old in this picture, some of the homes, the way they were in my area. There had to be something else in that neighborhood. But anyway, at 5 years old,
Is this you?
I was walked up to Mamaroneck Avenue School through the flats, we used to call it years ago. Today, it is Washingtonville. Everyone in the area, no matter where you lived, was very careful when they would walk through the flats. They would think, well, they're going to get hit or something on that order, but the flats was a good place to go through. We had a little church there on Madison Street. I was baptized in that church. St. Vito's, it's a little church now. It's a clubhouse. Recently, well, a year or two ago, we have a new Monsignor at St. Vito's. And I walked in with a little story about our area, and I says, Monsignor, I was baptized in the church on Madison Street. And he pops up and says, you mean the old church? So I turned to Monsignor and I said, you did your homework. Yes, that was the old church. You want to hear about growing up in Mamaroneck? I was very fortunate growing up because I was the last of 6 children. I had 4 sisters and another brother. I have one sister still living. She will be 100 years old in August. She played tennis until she was 90. At Harbor Island, the Lions Club sponsored men's and women's and mixed double championships, and she used to walk away with all the trophies. So, all 3 were good tennis players. My father came here, turn of the century, maybe a little before, and he got a job in White Plains across the street from St. Agnes Hospital. There used to be an estate there called McCabe. The McCabes were very wealthy people up in White Plains at the time, and he was right in with Mr. McCabe. Well, he saw that he could make a living here in the States, and he decided to go back and get my mother. They were already married.
Did they have any children that were still in Italy?
She had no children. And it just so happens, my parents came from where she comes from, called Felice.
Called Felicia.
So we all came from home.
Provincia Frosinone. There's a little province outside of Rome. In the meantime, my mother came over, sick as a dog, seasick for 12 or what. If I heard that story once, I must have heard it 100 times over a lifetime.
And I lived it. I lived it.
Oh my God, was she seasick.
Coming over in the winter time.
But anyway, most of the homes in my neighborhood, in fact the whole area, they enjoyed vegetable gardens. They had the best vegetables coming up. Very good vegetables coming up, and chickens, fresh eggs, and my mother would always give away, especially to the priest. And she would go every morning to church and bring eggs and some goodies to the priest, and also iron some of his clothes she would bring home and wash.
What did your father do when he came here? You said he got a job.
He was a stable boy, so to speak, stable boy. But now the estate was sold to General Foods. Not at that time, no.
That's later.
Later on, but the estate was broken up, and he came to Mamaroneck, and that's where he bought my uncle's pretty little brick house. My uncle was a stonemason, and it was a very pretty house. And I'm elaborating on this pretty little house because I'll tell you a quick story in a minute or two. And all the rest, no, my sisters were all born in White Plains. My brother was born in White Plains. I and another sister were born in Mamaroneck. And I was delivered by a very prominent doctor, Eugene Healy, there in that pretty red brick house. And my father got to be a landscape gardener. My father worked kind of around the clock. He had customers in Shore Acres, customers in Orienta. He would go nights and bank their furnaces, shovel the coal in, and go back the next morning and get it going. This was all done, all he had was a bicycle, and he got things going.
Did your kids work with him at any point?
No.
When you were growing up?
None of us worked with him, I don't believe, no. He kind of built a nice business on his own. He was in a topsoil business, manure business. He had trucks and lawnmowers and what have you. Any other questions? I can go on.
I have.
Yes,
So
Fred?
in general, was a lot of masonry work done at that time by the Italians? I mean, I'm thinking back to Kensico Dam, et cetera, and maybe even WPA work. So I was curious about the history.
Well, we'll go to WPA, but the Kensico Dam was at least 90% Italians. And the Italians knew their business. But somehow, the foremans were down on the Italians. Maybe an Italian would fall down in the dam before you know it. He was buried in that dam. WPA, that Works Project Administration, was in the early 30s, was the greatest thing that came in this area. Not only did, who was that president? Roosevelt. Not only fed us by letting us go to work, not me, but my father.
And you
But they built some beautiful, Harbor Island, their pavilion was a WPA project. Their walls around that West Basin, East Basin, are WPA
The
projects.
wall where
Yes.
I live, that
Yes.
I bought the property from your brother, and his sister, who's turning 100 or 101, lives right behind me. Was that a WPA
That was WPA,
project?
yeah, that wall was.
And that wall is still standing on the Mamaroneck River, on the
Was
Mamaroneck side.
Manor Park and Larchmont a WPA project?
No.
That I don't, I never
No?
heard that.
I don't think so.
No, it's private.
Private.
It was Oh, private. that's right, it's
private.
private. I think it's private.
But the Italians were also
What,
very instrumental in building the railroad.
Oh, well,
Yes.
yes.
I thought it was Irishman.
No,
that's my
later,
grandfather.
later, during the family.
Also Chinese.
Joe, one more question before we go to Gina. Did you speak Italian at home? Did your parents learn to speak English? Or?
You know, that's another story. I speak Italian, yeah. My wife Louise came from a very smart family in Italy. In fact, a couple of her cousins are professors at the University of Rome, La Spisa, whatever part of the college. But anyway, I'm in her uncle's living room, and I'm rattling off in Italian. He turns to Louise, he said, where in the world did he learn to speak Italian? I have a dialect all of my own, but somehow I get by. I had about 27 men in my business, and they seem to have understood what I was talking about.
Did your parents learn to speak English, though? Did your parents learn to speak English?
No, it was very difficult. My father, yes. My mother, no. Why? Because she was in a neighborhood of all Italians. That's all they spoke.
Didn't have to learn. Your father had to learn.
Yeah, he was
And he was out,
involved
he
with
was out in
The
the
community.
workforce and so you had to learn.
Gina, can you tell us something about your family when they came here, where you were born?
Well, I'm born in the same village where he came, called Felice. And we was 5 sisters, 1 brother. The brother was the last one. And when I was about 11 years old, and I have 1 sister before me, and the rest all after me. The well came in 1942. And we was live right next the road where the well passed by. Like I said, 99, 95, you know, that road, that's the road at that time. And we was working on a farm, and the farm was belong to us. It was belong one rich person, because my grandpa was working on a farm, and he has 4 sons and 4 daughters. And my father was the last one. Everybody went out, other place, working, this and that. And my father had to stay on the top of the farm. He can go no place. So we work over there. When the well came, if we stayed on there, when I born, we was dead. We have to go on the top of the mountain. It was 1 a.m. We was make most an hour to walk on a mountain. We did it. We went to there live. When the well is finished, so my father, mother was with us. She was older lady. We have to carry her all over the place. So when we was live over there in my house, I was 11 years old. My mother has the last, my sister, over there. And there was American people, and then they started coming German people. 2 days after my sister born, the German people came inside one room. My mother has a little thing for sleeping. They threw my mother on the floor, and they took the bed. What we could do? So then, when the well came near Monte Cassino, they stopped to shoot the plane. And they said, for this place, you guys have to go another place. And we went another place with my mother, my father, my grandma, all sister, brother, you know. When we went over there, there was one bridge. Very long from the neck down over there, this bridge. And there was no room, just a bridge. I can tell how many people we was over there. So my mother said, what I have to do now? No store, nothing, we was hungry. We walk up over there, And my mother has a pound of flour. She made a little bit of macaroni on the top, the rock, put a tablecloth. She made those macaroni, and then she said, I opened the fire side a little bit and cook it. And she put another tablecloth on the top of the pasta. But the people didn't know it was pasta, they said, all on the top of it. When my mother went to get it, it was all sticky. But she had to cook it. We was hungry, We don't got nothing to eat. So she cooked it just like that, no sauce or nothing. And she gave a little bit each. The day after, they said again, you guys can move Roccaseca. You know Roccaseca?
Yeah, right up the street,
What's that?
Well,
so to
The
speak.
name of the
and
town,
we walk
Ricozzi.
from the neck,
Who is it that said this to you?
Eh?
Who told you had to move?
the plane, America plane.
They were gonna bomb it? And
No, there was a do. We stopped today at the shoot. And you guys, for one day, you have to go from this place to go to the other place.
So you can
And
say-
there was a saying to speak from the top of the plane.
Okay, so they-
So we walk on the top of the mountain all day long. And the night we reach one church, and we stop on a church because it was dark. The people on the church are on the floor, lay down, we was. In the morning we get up again to go more Roccaseca. And my father has the head, looked like it was a German head. When America, German said to my father, "You're not Italian, you're a German." My father said, "No, I'm Italian." No, the head of German. My father get the head and poof, he threw it away. Because, said, now, for this one told me I'm a German, when we go over there, the same way. So we walk all day, we reach the place called Roccaseca. When we reach over there, was one of my aunts with me with the kids too. We went inside the one room, but nobody was live there. It was all broke inside over there, So we was a cry. Me, my kids, my cousin, my kids. We are hungry. What do we have to do? So they have a little red flower, my mother in the back. But by the time we was to go for the church and another place, one of my friends has a horse. What's carry the horse? The American people go to plane. Person a chap, he tore, because the horse was German with those people. And he started do the bomb attack. We all run underneath the rock and under the water. And I have a little basket on top of my head to carry like this. I have 2-3 eggs inside of there, a little piece of bread. So after they realized that we was Italian people, they ran and didn't know more. We get out of the water. I went to pick it up with the basket because we dropped it. It was one egg is broken. I pick it up like this with my hands. I was 11 years old. I said, "Ma, put on the mouse." She has a little baby. She born not even a week before. I put on my mouth. When we reached Roccaseca, we went inside of the house. Everybody was hungry. No store, nothing, They have a little flower red. We find a little pot inside of there. And it wasn't no pot, a good pot either. They put 2 rocks in a hallway. They put a little fine middle of this rock. They put a pot in the top, one spoon, after they cook the red stuff. One spoon, hey, put the same spoon, everybody, my mother, my aunt, put on the mouth of all our kids, the way we was. Then somebody said, if you go to a village, they give you some food. My mother walked on a village. They gave a little piece of bread, a little cookies, things like that. And we stayed for 3 days over there at Roccaseca. Then we walk back a Coffleesh all day long. We walk. On the road. Dead animal, dead people, I can't believe it. So, when we walk at Coffleesh the way he was, some of the people, they was over there, they knows us. They start to scream, "Oh, Maria, come back with the kids." My mother was named Maria. "She come back with the kids." We went straight inside the church. We was asleep, so all of the clothes broke to us, you know. And one lady, she saw us, she ran on my mother fought. She was a labor Coffleesh. To tell my mother with the kids, we was over there in the church. We went inside the church, we prayed, we opened a candle. Then we went to see my grandma. Then we went at where we was living, the little village. We walk over there. When we walk over there, the house was all broken. But we have to stay inside. It was one kitchen, one bedroom. That's all we have it. We lay down on the floor and we sleep in the night. What are you gonna do? You can do nothing. You know? So we don't have no money at that time. We don't did nothing in the farm for years. Nothing we have. We didn't know what we have to eat. My sister, the one she lived in France, she was sitting on the steps. "Ma, I'm hungry. Ma, I'm hungry." My mother said, "What I can do? I don't got nothing." So it was one guy has a farm with an apple tree. And we was to go over there, pick it up the apple and eat it. We was to go find the tenderloin on the ground, cook and eat it.
Gina, when did you come to the U.S.?
So,
When did they finally decide?
Then we came in America.
What year?
My father brought, it was to live in America. And he sent us a package with some clothes or something, you know. And then I said, "I want you guys to come over there." But my father was to say, "No, I don't want to bring the kids over there because I don't know what's why, you know."
What year was this? And obviously.
I
40s,
was
or
16 years. 16 years I was. Now I'm 79. So. And my father said, "I don't want to bring over there." There was one young guy next my door. He was working in a village. He was said, Dominique, please, take those girls in the middle of the farm and bring them over there. I help you with some money. I help you to do the pay.
Where did they live?
So, a weekend.
Where did they live, the people who were here?
My uncle, my father brother, they call
He
us.
lived where?
I'm a Maronek. He was a labor Maronek. So we came, and I was 21. They don't want me to come to the neighbor. And my father was crying, and one of my friends said to him, "Why you crying?" Because my wife come, the other kids come, and the one they don't want to come to the neighbor. So they went to youngest and a lady. She sent a telegram to neighbor. She said, "You think it's nice? Can the family come to the neighbor and leave the girl by herself called Felicia?" Neighbor sent me the telegram again.
So you were alone?
No, the February 4 I was 21. They sent me the telegram. I have to be a neighbor that day, February 4. I went over there, they gave me the paper. Say, "Okay, when your mother, the rest of the family go, you go too now." I said, "Good, you know." And we came. It was a neighbor, March, April. We came to go La Christophe and Colomba for 13 days on the water. It broke one night, we have to stay with the bed. And we came to the name. And we went to live someplace in Mamaroneck, near the school. My father rented an apartment, you know. We lived there.
And what did he do when he came here?
Eh?
What job? Did he get a job when he came
My
here?
father was to do the labor, you know, not nothing, you know.
And did you work then when you came here?
Yeah, we came all together.
When
My
did you
father came, one of my sister, when he came. And 2 years after, we came with the rest of the family.
You know, when we talked about this, you said there was a quota
Yes, I
system
was
at
just
one
gonna
time,
say,
which is
what
kind of
Gina's
interesting.
talking about is that there used to be quotas, how many people could come in from any country. And actually, my family got caught up in that. My mother, being a US citizen, was only allowed to bring one child with her under the age of 16.
Yeah, see?
And there were 5 of us under the age of 16. So she brought my brother, my youngest brother, I should say. And it was over a year later that I came with my father and 3 sisters. And being the youngest and my mother's baby, I have to tell you, it was very, very difficult. And it was also difficult because my family, the older ones, were not able to come here for years.
Yeah.
To be so divided, what it created for me was, not only was there a big age difference between me and my older siblings, but there also ended up being a language difference and a cultural difference.
Yeah.
They maintained, after coming here, because being in their 40s, they maintained their Italian lifestyle. Like Joe was saying, the gardens, they didn't go to the store and buy bread, they didn't go to the store and buy vegetables.
Yeah.
And the fruit trees. Don't forget
I
the
know.
fruit trees.
Yeah.
It's amazing what kinds of fruits they can grow in Connecticut. You would think that it's cold there, but they can grow fruit. So it created a lot of this separation, and it's kind of a touchy subject for some of us.
Yeah.
Who
Because
took care of you when you stayed? Were your grandparents there?
No, being the youngest, I never knew my grandparents, but my older brothers were married already, and for the last few months before coming here, we actually moved in with a married brother and his wife and baby. So this sister-in-law of mine was my second mother, and unfortunately she passed away last year, but I have very, very fond memories. She mothered me.
And when you
She
came,
says I
when you
was the
came
first
here,
baby.
what happened?
Well, it was, I mean, the whole thing was very traumatic, and of course it was a great reunion especially for me, with my mom. And
Did you go to school then here?
yes, I was actually one of the fortunate ones, because unlike what we see in today's society, where there are huge numbers of people coming from other areas and they have a lot more assistance, there was nothing. We had to become assimilated into the American society. We had to learn the language. So I went from the 4th grade in Italy to the 4th grade here, and fortunately for me, the teacher I was assigned to used me as the class project. So for 1 hour,
She succeeded.
for 1 hour each day, she would have 2 of the students sit with me, and they started by showing me objects and telling me the names of objects. And that's how I learned. Now, the sister closest in age to me is actually 2 years older, but they put her in the 5th grade, just 1 grade ahead. And she didn't get that same wonderful treatment that I did. Although as I said, children learn very quickly. So,
Oh, yeah.
we learned very well.
How
But
old were you when you came here?
I was 21. I never went to school. I started to work the day after. I worked at 2 places, me and my sister. One of my sister younger than me. 2 fattorie. One day, one fattorie, and night another fattorie.
Were there factories
oh,
here?
Mama,
Eh?
yes,
Mamaroneck,
Mamaroneck
yeah.
Heavy Industrial.
One was where the MB now, Mamaroneck, and one was near the Rockland Dam, in the daytime.
Oh,
Yeah.
what were you making? What were they manufacturing?
The one in Mamaroneck, we was make the top, the one near the Rockland Dam, the top of the barrel.
Oh,
I worked on the
Remember Cody's
MB.
perfume? Cody, well, that's where they made the tops. and
Yeah.
everything.
I
Mr.
worked
C.
on
Rat.
C-Rat.
Mr.
Yeah.
C.
Right,
Rat.
C-Rat.
Yeah, not the
Great.
stop,
Nice
Yeah.
people.
But we was work twice because me and my sister, we left the boyfriend in Italy. The one younger than me, 2 years. And,
And that person never came over, your sister? Did that sister, the younger one, come over eventually?
yeah, we came all together, the rest.
Okay.
All together, the rest. One came with my father, that's all.
Ah,
So, and then when we came then we have to work, and I left the boyfriend, she left the boyfriend, we was engaged.
so Where
And
did
then
you, where
they
did you
said-
meet your husband? Did he come from Italy or was he
He
here?
came from Italy. I left a couple each. There was a couple each, those two. My
Oh, so you went back and
husband and
got
my
them?
sister. On the fall, then around July, there was a say, if you go get married this year, in 1 or 2 years they come. Otherwise, I have to wait for 5 years if you go marry next year.
This is again the
In
quota.
Mamaroneca, we was a lot of people for Conflict, for Coldragone, I mean, the Lagaza, you know, Lagaza. We was all some girl together, you know, we know for there. We all went in Italy married before the end of the years.
Where did your father and mother marry? Did they marry in Italy?
They were married in Italy, and my father came by himself here, and then went back
How
over
long was he here before he sent for
a
you?
couple of years,
The Tuesday.
at least, yeah.
Did
And we came in the spring and the fall, we went to get married. Me and my sister, we did a double awareness.
I just
Double
wanted to ask,
awareness,
when
we
you,
did it.
when you came here to Mamaroneck, did you find that the Italian community settled in a given area, were supportive of each other, helped each other out? Did you get that community feeling? People
Yeah,
embrace-
yeah,
they embrace
we still talk with those Italian people.
Mhm.
There are a lot of people now, they don't drive. Cause they never drive, some they never, they can drive no more. And they ask me, Gina, I have to go over there, Gina, I do it. So I got my driver license there, the priest in Pogesto, one priest in Pogesto, they gave us Italia for learning to drive the car. And we passed,
How
one of
old
my,
were you then?
eh?
How old were you then?
It was 25.
So was it,
Yeah. One of my neighbor, she started to help the driver. And then another neighbor was do the school for drive. So the last one, he did, he said, you can go get the license, you pass, don't worry about it. We pass.
Joe, did you have somebody who helped you in school? Or was there, did you have a mentor
She didn't
somewhere?
think.
No, Joe.
Joe.
No,
You.
during school time, I did not have a mentor, but when I went into business, thank God I had a mentor, yes.
I know,
I had
no
a
got
mentor
no
that
Italian
really
school, no English school.
Helped me to be where I'm at today,
Very
be
well.
very successful.
Was he a family
Made a big difference.
Was it somebody in your family or somebody?
The mentor was a gentleman by the name of Morris Stern. Morris Stern was, way back, a builder in Mamaroneck and what have you. Want a quick story?
Yep.
I'm cleaning his windshield. This is when I got out of the Marine Corps, and I'm in a gas station working. And I says, Mr. Stern, this lady doesn't want to sell this building here. I want to buy that piece of property across the street. This is on Fenimore Road. You'd be interested in it. He says, Joe, you don't want to be down here. You want to be on Mamaroneck Avenue, so when you retire, you'll be okay to retire. He says, I'll call you about 3 o'clock today. Sure enough, he called me 3 o'clock. He said, meet me at Pure Food Factory. He introduced me to Mr. and Mrs. Stahl, who owned this. I don't know if you were familiar with the Pure Food Factory. They're one of the biggest employers in Mamaroneck. A lovely place to work, big, good factory. Well, anyway, meeting Mr. and Mrs. Stahl, they practically gave me a building on paper on Mamaroneck Avenue.
Wow.
They got me started.
Wow.
Could I just say something? Larchmont had a fair number of Italian families. Do you remember the Carpinos that had a farm
Oh,
between
yeah, up on the hill.
Fifth Avenue
The
and
goats.
North Chatsworth Avenue, where all the apartments are now? And their animals kept getting loose on North Chatsworth Avenue. The cows, the pigs, everything, the goats, everything they had. Rural Larchmont. And that was a close-knit community. The Italian families in Larchmont were also related to everybody in Mamaroneck.
Yes.
Oh, without a doubt.
Well, I think one person
Miss
came and
Miss
was the best.
Silvestro, you're with the bank, am I correct?
Yes, I am.
So tell us your story.
Well, it's, I said, you know, I had to learn the language, and it's, the heritage part is very, very strong, because my family still lives the way they did back in Italy. You're talking about baking the bread. My oldest sister, who is up in the Schenectady area, has one of those brick ovens, and she bakes the best bread. I mean, unbelievable. The best, I mean, even cookies, no matter what she bakes, they come. So I kind of straddle two worlds, because being that I was younger, I became totally Americanized, but yet, when I visit my family, it's like going back to Italy. And unfortunately, we're all spread out now, and some of the older ones have passed away. I don't get to speak the language as often as I used to, so I keep losing a little bit more of it. When we visit Italy, the last time was 2 years ago. We spent a little over 2 weeks touring all of Sicily. And we've spent time in different regions. After I'm there a few days, it starts to come back. But I'm trying to hold on to it, because my children, first of all, they're still mad at me because I didn't teach them the Italian language. But we've passed on a lot of the you know, our heritage.
How about the cooking?
Oh, the cooking, without a doubt. Without a doubt, the cooking is there, and I have a son and a daughter, both adults, both married with their own families, and we all love to cook. All of us. So we take turns when we're all together in the kitchen, because as anybody who's a cook knows, you know, you can't have too many people in the kitchen at the same time. So whoever, we decide who's preparing what, and we take turns in the kitchen. That part of our heritage and our traditions is very strong. My husband, who has children with 2 wives, so I have older stepchildren, to this day, he will tell his children, friends are wonderful, but family comes first. So we're a very close-knit family, and in that sense, the traditions are passed on very strongly.
Have you been to Italy in the city?
Pardon me?
Have you been to Italy in the city?
Oh, it's great.
On 23rd Street?
New York
No.
City,
I'll tell
Italy.
you that.
It's an experience, it definitely
Yes,
is.
it is.
Bob?
In Manhattan and in Brooklyn, I guess, a lot of the Italian families live in multi-story buildings where their cousins and aunts
Right.
and uncles on every floor. Did that pattern also exist
It did in my
Milan?
family. It's not unusual to see an elderly in-law or mother or whatever stay in the home with them. As a matter of fact, 2 of my nephews, my older siblings and my parents settled in Connecticut eventually, and I have 2 nephews. They share a dental practice. They both built homes with an attached apartment for the elderly parents. So, and I mention them because they're relatively still, you know, young compared to us. But that has been a continuation in my family.
Any other? Julian?
Is there still a cohesive Italian community in Mamaroneck, in Larchmont? Is there a sense of...
Not as strongly as it was before, because as the younger generation grew up, as my children did, they went away to school, they found jobs elsewhere, settled elsewhere. So it's not as cohesive as it used to be. Because the younger people, they have to go and find the opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's not, unfortunately, for a lot, it's not here.
But if you go into Gina's or go to a Pizza Gourmet, you're all like in Italy.
Oh, yes.
It's, I mean, some of the businesses straw.
Yes.
The ones, the service business is destroyed, and you're absolutely transported. And
Actually, Pizza Gourmet, you will find things on the menu that you don't find anywhere else except in an Italian household.
I believe
Such
it.
as
Like what?
the tripe,
The
the bacala. I mean, you know, this is the kind of thing that you only find in an Italian household, but they
It's
still
right
cook
across
over
the
there.
street from, it's right across the street from Briggs House. in
Yes.
the
Oh,
Phillips
that's
district.
right across from our
In
office.
fact, that's our offices are in the Briggs House on the 3rd floor. Across from that is Pizza Gourmet. And we were moving into the office, and we were all starved. It was about 2:30 in the afternoon, and we said, oh my goodness, we have to go get some lunch. So we go across to Pizza Gourmet. I thought I was in Italy. First of all, it was all the men drinking espresso with the anisette sambuca, with some food, and talking Italian.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was just wonderful.
Go there to brush up.
Yeah, right. Well, actually,
Yeah.
being in the bank, I see all different kinds of people. And there are Italians that come in, they kind of gravitate because I can understand them and they're comfortable speaking with me. And there are several of them that I practically did arrange for Italian lessons. And what did I get from one? He said, you come to my house, my wife teaches Italian, she's a school teacher. I give you a nice, cup of coffee, and over the coffee and a few biscotti, you have a conversation in Italian. And it actually happened to be the uncle of Silvestro from Chef Antonio's. His uncle,
Yeah,
who
no,
owned the
Chef
restaurant down in White Plains, I think. And he said, you come, my wife's a school teacher, and you have a nice cup of coffee, and we have a conversation.
I think it's wonderful having the different cultures and the experience it gives to all of us.
Without a
It
doubt.
enhances the whole
really-
community.
Without a
yeah.
doubt.
The Italian stuff, it's very good. That's what I'm a cook all the time when I got in my family. Italian stuff.
Italian.
That's what they want my kids.
They want
When I go
Italian.
my daughter married, they make me a list of my grandchildren. Grandma, I want this, I want this, I want that. When I'm there,
That's what
every
happens
day I
when you're a
have to
good
that.
cook.
Well, I will tell you this about the Mediterranean diet. It's true. It's very, very healthy. My husband, who is now 86 years old and insulin dependent, he always tells me that. He said, you're the one that keeps me going because you give me all this good food. So,
Well, I thank you.
it is very healthy.
It's really, and I always thank you.
Sunday I
because
make
it's
manigotta,
wonderful.
I make lasagna, then my son came with the family. And they eat all this week too. I made bread, I made Easter cake.
Thank you, Jerry.
I don't buy the pasta, I make my own.
I have to tell you, and that's what used to happen. People share